Altitudes, it's looking like besides this, we are about ready to get into our game between Guardians of the Sun and excuse me, I may have misreported. Guardians of the Sun and Armed and Healing.
Oh yeah, in this best of three right now, once again, the final best of three here at weekend number 1 towards a good cause between Armed and Healing versus Guardians of the Sun. Two titans in their own regard with some crazy players that you'll be seeing right now on screen as we move into the ban and hero picks right now. And first off the cuff is our dear Lord Bucky, one of my favorite duelist characters, Ian.
Honestly, I've discussed this with you extensively, and even the Groot ban, quite surprising since the team has banned Bucky. I mean, you know what? On hindsight, probably the best choice here is to ban Groot to deny them the value. But what we're seeing here, Multitudes, is none of them have chosen to protect the Wolverine so far. So even if the Groot does get banned, there's still a chance for that dominant DPS comp to come out. And I'm just getting information that Groot has been perma-banned for most of the matches, so I'm no longer surprised that Groot got banned. But Winter Soldier is still a big ban here, and even Punisher coming out as well, denying that infinite ammo team comp for the Rocket. So almost making it so that Armed and Healing have actually almost wasted the protect on Rocket Raccoon. That being said, all supports are still open. Luna Snow especially, the best support in the game. Strongest ultimate, strongest healing, and to an extent, some of the stronger damage on the support roster if we're not counting Mantis. So there is potential for this Luna and Loki team up to come out here, which has been, as far as I can tell, from what I gathered from Rivals Fight Night specifically, shout out them, that comp is definitely one of the more dominant support comps in the game. Also, in general, you've got the Adam Warlock team up available, but honestly, from my homework in this tournament, I don't really see a lot of Adam Warlock players, so that might not be of huge concern to anyone here.
It's still going to be a triple strategist lineup for the side of Armed and Healing. They're going to be able to power their way through just from the sustained perspective as we move on to this point pick here. 14 seconds left as we move into this best of three. Guardians of the Sun going with the classic kind of 2-2-2 pick. Squirrel Girl, I know is a huge hot pick. Some of the casters here preach by that hero, especially with that Squirrel Tsunami coming out strong as well. It's going to be one tough nut to crack as we move into the mission area in about 20 seconds left here.
I will say this about Squirrel Girl, she is so good into the current meta tank comps. Magneto specifically does do a good job at mitigating a lot of the damage, but in general the Thing, with his huge hitbox, is super vulnerable to all those acorns just getting lobbed from across the map, and especially but the potential for a double stun, just completely denying that second map here in this fight. But as we're seeing so far, it's looking like no one's really going down too quickly.
Yeah, I like the high ground that Guardians of the Sun are taking. There's a lot of poke damage, but the shields are holding everyone off so far, and the sustain from both sides are keeping everyone alive. Synthetics on the hunt for maybe a bit of a flank, at least getting out that revive from Rocket Raccoon. Okay, that's a good one out of the way, and Moonlight's gonna be the first to drop against Synthetics. So that's Armed and Lightning with one person down, another Sky Pandas out of the way. So much is hinging on the right now onto Armed and Healing. I don't know how much more they can sustain here, and the point may be moving towards the side of Guardians of the Sun, and Synthetics tries to hunt more, squeeze Armed and Healing back into their spawn.
Mike Twisty just chasing down Missy into the spawn, guaranteeing the stagger, and like we see even here Synthix and the rest of the squad managing to take that space off of a clean sweep of the first point, managing to capture here, and look at that, the unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami sent out early as the Galactic Legend comes live from Jahesh, as well as the Clobbering Tom coming out from Mike Twisty to mitigate the follow-up from the rest of the team, and Lum even finding that frag, and Synthix with the Dance of the Butterfly as well, picking up two and finishing off Moonlight, and Mike Twisty does deny that final kill, but that was an insane ult economy management.
It was very well staggered, right? And Sin being an absolute dominating factor with that Dance of the Butterfly coming in clutch right at the end, and they still have a couple of great ultimates to sustain themselves. 50% has been locked into the bank for the side of Guardians of the Sun. Okay, we're poking around right now, and we're trying to get some pokes through, but no one's really being able to get their way onto great shield management. I think that's the Khonshu. Nope, I take that back. Khonshu, I think, tried to pop that up, but I didn't see any strong impacts. And that's gonna be Binks out of the way. Oh, and the kill feed lights up. Orange, Guardians of the Galaxy showing extreme dominance, just absolutely pushing Armed and Healing back into their spawn.
Guardians of the Sun, those Vanguards are so incredibly strong. Shout out Nooney and Mike for just completely obliterating them, taking the space needed. They don't even need Synthics to go for the flank. You can just stay frontline, play like a Punisher, and even the Fate of Both Worlds coming through, and the clobbering time as well coming out from Mike for good measure. And as we can see already, Noon has gone ahead and swapped to the Namor for some reason to deny the Psylocke. But even then, it's just too little too late. First round goes to the Guardians of the Sun.
So aggressive for the side of Guardians of the Sun, right? They came out very strong. I think Sin, with the great flanks around the edges, around the peripherals of that site, were able to get some good picks. You know, first with the denial of the Rocket Raccoon's revival system, and then subsequently with some great ultimate management to be able to lock that down. Now moving into the second half, how do you think Arm and Healing are needing to adapt to this?
You know, they're not as much of a threat as I expected going into the matchup with Guardians of the Sun. Like, so far the front line incredibly dominant. Synthics finding the perfect timing on the flank, and Lum just getting absolutely absolutely left alone in the back line, untouched. You know, no punishment coming through. Which is why I'm questioning the Namor pick, because it doesn't feel like they need to deal with anyone other than Synthics, but little do they know, Lumptious and Twisty are the ones finding all the impact needed. And yes, the BRB might be good for Jahesh here, but at the same time, you really need a lot more resources dedicated to the Star-Lord to try to eliminate this backline.
Yeah, 100%, right? So we'll see how Jahesh does with this as we start things off. Bit of environmental damage just to open up the space a little bit as the clobber. Okay, we're coming strong as well with some ultimate usage here. Cloak and Dagger trying to get a lot of space nonetheless, I believe. Okay, Story coming around, trying to hold things back.
Yeah, both Meteor M's connected, both support ults to initiate the fight denied. And even Nooney finding Pandas, or Sky, excuse me, here on the final pick of the round. And it's looking like Guardians of the Sun continuing to dominate with this Magneto Thing comp. Even Dance to the Butterfly coming through from Synthics, looking for one, maybe not enough, but still. Twisty does finish off the enemy Namor and actually withdraws with time to spare. And here comes the Fate of Both Worlds by Sky to guarantee, to at least secure them some space, but they're all alone on the point. The rest of the team not quite keeping up just yet, but still, it was a bait, it was a ruse. The CYA coming out, all that damage getting pumped by the entire squad as Jahesh finds Synthics, forcing the invisible boundary, and the clobbering time by Mike Twisty. Finding all four is this Guardians of the Sun squad as they continue to hold down the point. 160% to 0 so far here in Yggdrasil. Or Yggdrasgard.
It's a dominant force so far. From the side of Guardians of the Sun, they are still laden on that ultimate Meteor M online as well. Nooney taking points, trying to, you know, at least get some sort of poke damage out of them and hold the advancements back at the moment. Okay, that's going to be everything at the same time. Meteor M coming out as well. The real great shots from the side of Guardians to the Sun to be able to deny any sort of coverage. It's a 5-person wipe miss, left all alone on that CND, but couldn't do anything more. And once again, a dominant show of force from the side of Guardians of the Sun to be able to cap that point. No chance of touching whatsoever. And that's going to be a clean sweep for the Guardians of the Sun here.
Yeah, Nooney at the end there with a slam dunk with the Meteor M, denying both the Galactic Legend and, honestly, a lot of the value from any other ultimate coming through. Cloak and Dagger, you know, Eternal Bond popped out of desperation in the end, but really, it's just the absolute dominance coming out here from Guardians of the Sun. 200% to 0. As the viewers may have noted, it's genuinely unfathomable.
Well, there's only one way to find out as we move into the map number 2 here of the Rise of the Rivals cast, hosted by Ohgawdevents, you know, a charity event for the LA wildfire relief. This is going to be Midtown, a convoy, a battle between Guardians of the Sun versus Armed and Healing, and the former has 1 point up against their opponent. So we'll see how things adapt as we start the game. We're gonna be moving to lobby real quick as the players load up, but convoy is just a little bit different, you know. Both teams will have the chance to be able to fight and push the cart along as we move into our pre-select hero selection. Eon, walk us through this. What are your feelings as the counter counts down?
I do see Chidori hovering the Groot. That might be on the cards for this game, and even listening to my commentary, is this Armed and Healing squad going ahead and banning the Magneto? But seemingly undeterred is Guardians of the Sun as they go ahead and ban Winter Soldier once again, potentially not even seeing that pick for the entirety of the series. Reasonably so, that character is busted.
Yeah,
and
I mean, the
according
Kraken
to their
impact
first
is
protect-
ridiculous.
Oh yes, definitely a fight winner, definitely a key tool in literally every single situation. The moment you don't have support ults, just tell your Bucky, press Q, go in there, land some against, and they're actually gonna go ahead and protect the Punisher this time, given the opportunity. So we're definitely gonna be seeing that unlimited ammo team up shine, given the opportunity. And on this map, it's definitely a good one, considering the high grounds.
There you see, the Psylocke has been banned out by Arm and Healing. They do not want Sin back on that. Rocket Raccoon is going to be banned on the side of Guardians of the Sun. They do want that infinite ammo online, given that, you know, Arm and Healing likely gonna, Jahesh hovering and now confirming the pick onto the Punisher. Okay, that's gonna be a good counter for them sides, and I think we're in for a bit of a battle here. Oh wait, Jeff?
I may have spoken too soon. I may have cursed them, and I may have given them the idea to ban Rocket Raccoon. Big apologies to Guardians of the Sun. But also, yes, the Jeff pick in triple support. Fun fact, I've heard him be previously described as the best flank DPS in the game. But he does require a triple support comp. And this is exactly what we're seeing here from this Armed and Healing squad. Binks is actually going to go ahead and lock in the Luna, and Missy as well locking in the Invisible Woman to support. I genuinely hope they run with this Jeff comp. And even Noonie locking in the Jeff comp. Both
two sharks
support. This is incredible. This is exciting.
I love it. I'm here for it. You know, we're having fun. I love it. It's a show match after all. In this tournament, there's only 4 teams, but we're bringing the best at all times. Noonie taking the high ground to start things off. Oh, hiding, nonetheless.
Behind that police car, that is diabolical work by that little shark right there. He's looking to pounce on anyone with their back turned.
And starting off here, a lot of high ground specifics taken by the Star Guardians of the Sun. Great maneuvers, as well as the Groot tries to hold things back, but the car is being pushed just along enough to keep things going. Okay, having to do with those monstros as well, a bit of a annoyance. The Groot v Groot battle is great. Now Noonie's back with the rest of the team to support as a strategist. Nonetheless, no one's gone down just yet, but the car's being challenged just in this mid space.
So much going on here, but genuinely not a lot of damage. All of these strategist healing the strategist healing coming through as we see our very first pick of the map. Brought to you by Jaro, picking off Jahesh on this Punisher, and even looking for Chidori as well. The Groot is popping off, and definitely a reason that they banned it in the previous map. And I would argue that a Groot ban is a lot more necessary, considering how dominant he is on these narrow hallways, these like impossible to fight points on Midtown. Especially this map is the bane of everyone's existence if you let that Groot pick go through.
100%, but the turret's gonna try and force things back as they regroup for a second fight here. Everyone's online, a few ultimates as well. Synthetic's got the oh, there's the Groot.
Strangling Prison coming through, and Jahesh!
Oh my gosh!
I think all those frags with the turret. I have Agamotto to counter, and it's even bigger, accompanied by the Strangling Prison from Jaro. And even the final judgment popped to attempt to recover, as well as the unstoppable Squirrel Tsunami. And ultimately, coming out on top is this Armed and Healing squad.
Well, I think they really threw everything in the kitchen sink at the Guardians of the Sun right now. And they will have a chance to regroup and touch the point. And might I add, Nuni on that Jeff has their ultimate online. So that might be something to take note of as we move into the closing ends here of this first point. Okay, the fight's starting to battle out, but the turret has to be dealt with. It's a heavy hitter at the moment, but no one's there to contest. Fine is out. Okay, Invisible Dimensions is
here
out.
it comes.
There is going to come. It's Jeff. We only got one. Out of action?
Chidori.
Not quite yet.
Oh man, you gotta feel for Chidori there, being the only one to have gotten picked up. And even still, regardless of whether that Jeff ult or it's Jeff could have gotten any value, Invisible Boundary invested. Synthix and Lum finding all the picks needed. Sin showing dominance on this Namor, and even starting out the Horn of Proteus after Missy and Sky. The 4K secured, as well as the point contest. 1 minute left on the clock for the rest of these Armed and Healing players, but they have a Horn of Proteus of their own. Definitely a tool they could use to end this now.
Yeah, Chidori's really wanting to take as much space as possible. Gonna have to deal with those monsters up top as well. Jesh is on it with the firepower of a lifetime at the moment as they push. They're gonna be able to touch site, touch point and push that along. That's gonna be Proteus as well as a Fate of Both Worlds popped on both sides to be able to try and deny this space. It's a battle of the wits right now, trying to figure out if this 30 seconds are long enough to have Eye of Ohgawdevents is online. We're gonna try and see if we can get some. There is the pop, and it's a beautiful Eye of Ohgawdevents to be able to try to get, but it's not capitalized. Now judge, jury, and execution of final judgment is gonna be able to take down the opposing Groot. That's gonna be first on the board. A second one, Jahesh, unfortunately comes down to Synthetics.
Unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami as well popped as the rest of the resources on the squad, and that's Binks eliminated. That Fate of Both Worlds will not see play, and Sin even finding Pandas, or excuse me, Sky with that Horn of Proteus. And look at this absolute dominance shown here. Binks was definitely the biggest pick to find there in that fight, and the fact that that Luna ult is not available just completely blows it out of the water. And Armed and Healing just don't have a chance to fight back into it whatsoever. 0 points for them on the board. No time left whatsoever. And all they need to do is secure that one card push, that 1 point, that one cutoff that will get them to 2-0 in this best of 3.
130 meters for them to cover, basically, and it's gonna be an absolute uphill battle for Armed and Healing to stop the aggression from Guardians of the Sun. They're once again opting for their triple strategist move with double shields, might I add, right? So it's double tanks for them to be able to at least sustain and push themselves out of spawn and cap cart. So it's gonna be a bit of a wild ride for Armed and Healing. A bit of a tall order, might I add.
Interesting comp here from Armed and Healing as well. They've got the triple DPS. Chidori on the solo Groot, which is a pick that does work on this map. It's not something that's completely unusual. But in the current state of this game, you would imagine that you'd want a lot more tanks in general. And
it might be a counter for Guardians of the Sun, right? With Guardians of the Sun running a triple Sentinel, they just want to be able to sustain, maybe get through some of that sustained healing at the moment, as Noon Knight's going to start off with some poke damage around this, and Synthetics once again has been a nuisance in the past. Oh, that's going to be the first down with a straight shot from Chidori onto the Groot, not even letting them come out from spawn that far out. The battle has begun, but this is going to be Armed and Healing needing to, Guardians of the Sun needing to kind of regroup just a little bit.
Yeah, no BRB available for this Armed and Healing squad, so they have to wait for Chidori to make his way back, or excuse me, Jaro to make his way back to the fight. Nooni does get found by Jahesh, but not before taking one with him. Sky out of the fight for now. And losing players here, especially with so little distance to cover by the attackers, with so much time, is just so devastating.
Yeah.
And I want to mention specifically the Mr. Fantastic. And I thought that pick was gonna go through. I was incredibly excited for that, but yeah. Not
It's
much more to say
unfortunate
there.
because we're already halfway there. 60 meters are already clocked under the side of Guardians of the Sun, and they're really trying their best right now to hold things back, but the advancements are too good. The poke damage from the side of Armitage is too good. That's gonna be the horn called out, but nothing has been captured from that perspective.
Hands of Khonshu coming through as well as Noon finds two. Sin managing to take him out in the last second. And the Vanguards are still in the front here. Strangling Prison almost available for Jaro. Jaro, but he doesn't even need it. The wall damage onto Jahesh to look for it. And even the finish onto Missy. And that wall is almost going to outdamage the Fate of Both Worlds. Chidori nearly getting taken out. But it's Jeff. Here he comes. Taking away all of Binks' teammates. Forced to watch and dance. Do his little dance. As the rest of the squad is completely obliterated. And that is a clean 2-0 finish here for Guardians of the Sun.
But we thought, because this was Convoy, maybe we'd get some more gameplay. Maybe us casters will be able to yap just a bit more. But 130 meters was all it took for Guardians of the Sun to secure themselves a victory onto map 2 against an armed and healing. You know, they really tried their best. They had a few strats kind of locked up their sleeve, but they were just a bit out-armed and a bit out-healed for themselves to be able to make it a bit further and maybe bring us that map 3. Not to be today. As we look at the scoreboard once again, we see the same old names up top. McTwisty, or Twisty rather, having 16-2 on their name. MVP going to Lumshius, or Lum, from this perspective, having 24k heals to their name. That's ridiculous.